To me, I am all.
Let's open to 1 Samuel chapter 16. Now let's go to James chapter 4. Lifetime experience. Man, here on earth. Number 2, the essence of God. God is all in all. But man is nothing. He came to the world naked with his hand like this. And when he's going, he goes with his hand like that. Nothing. Can he do anything? And when he's going, he leaves everything. My second idea that let's try him. And in this particular story, God spoke to Samuel. In 1 Samuel chapter 16 verse 1 we read, Samuel, how long are you going to be crying for Saul? Saul was not dead though, but God has concluded with him. How long are you going to mourn Saul, seeing that I have rejected him as a king? Fill your horn. I already have a king that I want you to go and anoint in the house of Jesse. And he went to the house of Jesse. And he anointed David. That day, David woke up like a shepherd boy. Nobody remembered him. But by the time the day was finishing, God has uplifted David. He has anointed him. And the Bible said in that verse 13, then Samuel took the horn of oil and anointed him. Don't forget, 7 boys have passed before Samuel. In fact, when the first one came, Samuel said, behold, up. And God said, no, it's not the one. 7 boys have passed. And no more child was left. If the Spirit of God did not speak to Samuel, it would have been a confused prophet. He would have been saying, Mr. Jesse, but God said I should come and anoint. And God has said, none of your children. But the Spirit of God quickly came and told him, don't let the man confuse you. Ask him, are these all your boys? Can you imagine? A prophet spoke to your dad and said, God asked me to come to your house to anoint a king for him. Please gather all your children together. And the father forgot David. Was David not a child? But God remembered David. And when the man said, there's still one more, he's in the bush, we don't always reckon with him. Whenever we are doing any family function, we don't call him. I said to him, and Samuel said, we are not going to sit down and see the qualification that the Bible records about David. In verse 12. And he was ruddy and with a beautiful countenance. He didn't own anything. And godly. And when he's going to look at, he leaves everything. The family just don't want him. My second day that let's try him. And in this particular story, God spoke to Samuel in 1 Samuel chapter 6. God will uplift you this morning. Then Samuel took the horn of oil and anointed him. Many things don't forget, 7 boys have passed before Samuel to the man. In fact, when the first one, so that he's able to do miraculous things. Number 2, God begins to make available to the man his own ability, so that the man becomes a blessing to himself and to people around him. And all things become possible for him. Number 3, God's wealth and riches are made available to him. So he just has one major breakthrough, and poverty is removed from his life completely. A classical example is the lady in 2 Kings chapter 4. The husband was owing, and bankers said they were going to come and pick the two boys that the man of God left. But he had a contact with the man of God, an encounter with the Lord. And they told him, take the oil, gather vessels, and as you are pouring oil into each vessel, the oil will be increasing. And the Bible said exactly that was what happened. Until she filled the last bottle, the oil did not stop. And he went back to the man of God. I've done it all. There are so many vessels in our house now. Some in the bedroom, some in the kitchen, some in the living room, some in the store. What are we to do with it? He said, go and sell it. Pay your loans and live with the rest. And that woman was never the same again. What about his health? Number 4, when there's a link between you and God, because of the link, the life of God becomes your life. And I'd like you to open your Bible to John chapter 5, verse 26. And let's read it together. John chapter 5, verse 26. When a man is linked with God, his health and his life, his health becomes that of God. Let's read verse 26 together. For as the Father hath life in himself, so hath he given to the Son to have life in himself. The life of God becomes available to you, and then you live in divine health. Lassa fever is everywhere. They can't even touch you. Because you are linked with the Lord. The third point I want to make this morning, before I round up, is that in my search for the secret of excellent power, when I first became a Christian, I didn't want to be just an ordinary Christian. I want to be a Christian that is outstanding. So I used to ask God, how can this journey of Christianity be outstanding in my life? These men of God, these powerful men of God, how did they get there? And I've discovered that a divine encounter is very necessary for you to be lifted up spiritually. There are many examples in the Bible, and there are many examples in the contemporary world. I will just mention a few of them. In 1 Samuel chapter 1, verse 17 to 18, when talking about the mother of this prophet Samuel, Anna's example was classical. When Anna woke up that day, it was with shame, ridicule, sorrow, and embarrassment. You are married to the same man. The other wife is just having children like rabbits, and you cannot have just one. And she doesn't leave you alone. She torments you with it. And you know, in Lagos, it happens. You'll be telling the husband, people that are not fruitful, they are just wasting money. They may not mention the name. But in the case of this lady, he was mentioning Anna's name. But by the time Anna was going home from Shiloh, from the synagogue that day, she was full of blessing. Just read it in 1 Samuel chapter 1. Let's read verses 17 and 18. Then Eli answered and said to Anna, go in peace, and the God of Israel grant thee thy petition that thou hast asked of him. And she said, let thy handmaid find grace in thy sight. So the woman Anna went her way and did eat, and her countenance was no more sad. Sadness went out of Anna's life